بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
يا بني آدم خذوا زينتكم عند كل مسجد وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين. قل من حرم زينة الله التي أخرج لعباده والطيبات من الرزق قل هي للذين آمنوا في الحياة الدنيا خالصة يوم القيامة كذلك نفصل الآيات لقوم يعلمون. قل إنما حرم ربي الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن والإثم والبغي بغير الحق وأن تشركوا بالله ما لم ينزل به سلطانا وأن تقولوا على الله ما لا تعلمون. ولكل أمة أجل فإذا جاء أجلهم لا يستأخرون ساعة ولا يستقدمون. يا بني آدم إما يأتينكم رسل منكم يقصون عليكم آياتي فمن اتقى وأصلح فلا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. والذين كذبوا بآياتنا واستكبروا عنها أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا أو كذب بآياته أولئك ينالهم نصيبهم من الكتاب حتى إذا جاءتهم رسلنا يتوفونهم قالوا أين ما كنتم تدعون من دون الله قالوا ضلوا عنا وشهدوا على أنفسهم أنهم كانوا كافرين. قال ادخلوا في قد خلت من قبلكم من الجن والإنس في النار كلما دخلت أمة لعنت أختها حتى إذا اداركوا فيها جميعا قالت أخراهم لأولاهم ربنا هؤلاء أضلونا فآتهم عذابا ضعفا من النار قال لكل ضعف ولكن لا تعلمون. وقالت أولاهم لأخراهم فما كان لكم علينا من فضل فذوقوا العذاب بما كنتم تكسبون. إن الذين كذبوا بآياتنا واستكبروا عنها لا تفتح لهم أبواب السماء ولا يدخلون الجنة حتى يلج الجمل في سم الخياط وكذلك نجزي المجرمين لهم من جهنم مهاد ومن فوقهم غواش وكذلك نجزي الظالمين والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لا نكلف نفسا إلا وسعها أولئك أصحاب الجنة هم فيها خالدون ونزعنا ما في صدورهم من غل تجري من تحتهم الأنهار وقالوا الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق ونودوا أن تلكم الجنة أورثتموها بما كنتم تعملون ونادى أصحاب الجنة أصحاب النار أن قد وجدنا ما وعدنا ربنا حقا فهل وجدتم ما وعد ربكم حقا قالوا نعم فأذن مؤذن بينهم اللعنة الله على الظالمين الذين يصدون عن سبيل الله ويبغونها عوجا وهم بالآخرة كافرون وبينهما حجاب وعلى الأعراف رجال يعرفون كلا بسيماهم ونادوا أصحاب الجنة أن سلام عليكم لم يدخلوها وهم يطمعون وإذا صرفت أبصارهم تلقاء أصحاب النار قالوا ربنا لا تجعلنا مع القوم الظالمين ونادى أصحاب الأعراف رجالا يعرفونهم بسيماهم قالوا ما أغنى عنكم جمعكم وما كنتم تستكبرون أهؤلاء الذين أقسمتم لا ينالهم الله برحمة ادخلوا الجنة لا خوف عليكم ولا أنتم تحزنون ونادى أصحاب النار أصحاب الجنة أن أفيضوا علينا من الماء أو مما رزقكم الله قالوا إن الله الله حرمهما على الكافرين الذين اتخذوا دينهم لهوا ولعبا وغرتهم الحياة الدنيا فاليوم ننساهم كما نسوا لقاء يومهم هذا وما كانوا بآياتنا يجحدون.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
يا بني آدم خذوا زينتكم عند كل مسجد وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين. قل من حرم زينة الله التي أخرج لعباده والطيبات من الرزق قل هي للذين آمنوا في الحياة الدنيا خالصة يوم القيامة كذلك نفصل الآيات لقوم يعلمون. قل إنما حرم ربي الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن والإثم والبغي بغير الحق وأن تشركوا بالله ما لم ينزل به سلطانا وأن تقولوا على الله ما لا تعلمون. ولكل أمة أجل فإذا جاء أجلهم لا يستأخرون ساعة ولا يستقدمون. يا بني آدم إما يأتينكم رسل منكم يقصون عليكم آياتي فمن اتقى وأصلح فلا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. والذين كذبوا بآياتنا واستكبروا عنها أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا أو كذب بآياته
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah for this opportunity to have our first post month of Ramadan Thursday night live program. Inshallah, what we want to do this evening is to first have a little bit of Qur'an study. I'll explain about that in just a minute. And after that, we're going to be reciting a portion of Dua Communal along with commentary and Masaib. And after that, there's going to be an interactive quiz on slido.com. So you can go ahead and at some point, you can inshallah subscribe for that or sign up for that. You don't have to subscribe any email address. You can just put it in the hashtag Alham, and then you'll inshallah be able to participate in the quiz. And at the end, we're going to inshallah just do a little bit of like chatting on the either through Slido or through the YouTube, just to kind of connect with our different members of our community. Alhamdulillah. Now, what are we trying to do? We have just finished the month of Ramadan, and our enemy, who is Shaitan, is actively trying to get us to lose and give up all the great things that Allah Ta'ala gave us in the month of Ramadan. We don't want that to happen. So we need to work extra hard to make sure that we give the necessary thanks for all the blessings that He has given us. Allah Ta'ala is not going to leave our efforts in the month of Ramadan unrewarded. Those rewards can be seen in our heart, but we have to work hard to make sure that those blessings stick around. So how do we do that? We have to work hard. We need to set aside extra time and effort to remember Him, to call upon Him, to ask forgiveness for our sins, to learn, to spend time with the Qur'an. And so that is one of the reasons why we're having this program, because otherwise, if we don't have this regular type of meeting point, especially on such a holy and sacred night, then it might be the case that life just goes back to normal, and pretty soon month of Ramadan is just a blur and something of the past, and it's as if it never even happened. And we're just hoping that Allah Ta'ala gives us a chance to have another month of Ramadan. Now, why Qur'an? Why do we want to do a study of the Qur'an? Because in the month of Ramadan was meant to be a springtime for the Qur'an. Now, how sad it would be if as soon as the month of Ramadan is over, we're like, okay, we're going to close the Qur'an and say, هَذَا فِرَاقٌ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكَ. This is the separation between me and you. I'll see you the next month of Ramadan if I'm around. That would not be the right approach we want to take. We want to be able to build on that connection that we had with the Qur'an. I hope that during the month of Ramadan, all of us experience this type of rekindling and this growth of love burning in our heart for the Qur'an. So what we want to do, inshallah, is the idea and the plan is on a weekly basis to have a little bit of Qur'an study in the same format that we were doing in the various lectures in the month of Ramadan. We're going to be looking at something from the Qur'an. Exactly what it's going to be, not necessarily the same as what we're going to do tonight, but inshallah tonight we're going to try something and see how it goes, and then inshallah go forward from there. And then after that, as I said, we're going to do a portion of the dua. The reason is because few different causes for that. One of them is time. One of them is that even when you look at the recommendation of our great ulama like Imam Khomeini rahmatullahi alayh, they say that it's the imams who used to be able to recite like the whole dua with that state of awareness and being able to really feel that connection. But for us who are at a lower level, even if we're able to recite a portion, but we're able to do so with meaning, with attention, with hudur al-qalb, knowing that we're in the presence of Allah, sincerely meaning the words that we're saying, then that is sufficient for us. And so we're going to try that, inshallah, see how it goes tonight. And like I said, after that, we're going to have our interactive portion, and then inshallah some opportunity for discussion. So let's move now to our presentation. Tonight we are going to be looking at one of the life verses of the Quran. The Quran is filled with verses which guide us about how we can live our lives and how we can view the different events that are taking place around us. So today or tonight, this evening, I want to, inshallah, look at 3 wonderful verses from the Quran. While you're looking at the translation, let's go ahead and listen to the recitation of those verses. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
إذ قالوا ليوسف وأخوه أحب إلى أبينا منا ونحن عصبة إن أبانا لفي ضلال مبين وما أرسلنا في قرية من نذير إلا قال مترفوها إنا بما أرسلتم به كافرون وقالوا نحن أكثر أموالا وأولادا وما نحن بمعذبين.
صدق الله العلي العظيم. So the first verse that you heard is from Surah Yusuf, and the they in that verse is referring to the brothers of Nabi Yusuf. Now, they are plotting and planning. They want to do something to severely harm Nabi Yusuf. Some of them are saying we should kill him. And they're discussing this, and Allah Ta'ala isn't just telling us what happens, He's telling us why it happens. So what does He say? He says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إذ قالوا ليوسف وأخوه أحب إلى أبينا. When they said, surely Yusuf and his brother are dearer to our father than the rest of us, though we are a strong group. Our father is indeed in clear error. Now, keep that in mind. Let's go to the second group of verses. Allah says, we did not, in translation, we did not send a warner to any town without its affluent ones, meaning the people who were, affluent means rich and well-to-do, saying, we indeed disbelieve in what you have been sent with. And they say, we have greater wealth and more children and we will not be punished. Now think for a moment here, because this isn't just about sitting back and sort of watching a show. It's to engage our intellect and our hearts. So think, what is similar about these verses? Can you spot any thread, any reason why we would want to group these set of verses together? Okay, think about it. All right, I hope you're thinking. All right, everyone's thinking, inshallah. Okay, now let's move to the next slide. So, some key terms. First of all, the brothers of Nabi Yusuf, the way they justify their assessment, or their asserting that they should have a special position with their father and they should be more beloved to their father than Yusuf is they say that we are an usba. So what does an usba mean? Usba means a group that is strong and connected with each other. And the one of the words that's similar to this in Arabic language is the word asab. Asab is like a vein. Now if you look at it's like a nerve. Now if you look at the nervous system in the body, there's like a lot of nerves and they're all like connected together, are kind of all like tied up together. So an usba is like a group of people who are sort of connected with one another. Think about it like a clan or like a gang, okay? And it also has a sense of like being tough as well. The other vocabulary word is the mutrafun. Mutrafun are the affluent, but not just anybody who's rich and well-to-do. Because we know that, for example, Nabi Sulaiman was well-to-do, but that doesn't mean that he was one of the mutrafun. Mutrafun are people who, number one, they are mutana'am, meaning that they've been given a lot of ni'amah. They're loaded with like a lot of possessions. That's one. Number two is that they use what they have to satisfy their low desires and their lusts and their pleasures, but in an extreme way. They're like extreme pleasure seekers. They're like cookie monsters. Okay, they're just like out to like eat and to consume as much as possible. Okay, and to satisfy their hungers and their appetites. Okay. Now, the other term that's used is ahab or akthar. That was mentioned in both of these verses. And then in similar verses in the Quran, another term that's used for these type of people is a'az. A'az meaning mightier. So all of these are of the form like af'al, meaning that these people, they would justify their being privileged. They think that we deserve more than others, right? We are privileged more than others because of these sorts of things. Okay, what are those things? Well, it's because of our wealth. It's because of our strength. It's because of the fact that we're all part of this gang or this team or like this, sort of clan, right? And this family. And so therefore, we are more privileged than others. So keep that in mind. Let's ask some questions from these verses and see if we can understand. What type of thought process did the brothers go through to say that our father is in clear error? Now, who's their father? Their father is a prophet of God, Yaqub alayhi salam. For them to like say that their father is making a big mistake, right? It's a very bold statement. So what is it that they're thinking in their mind, right? Their father is ma'asum. Their father, of course, has reasons to have more love in his heart for Nabi Yusuf, right? What is the thought process that they're going through? Well, they believe the following is true, that strength and numbers means that you're privileged to have the love of others. If you're strong, right? If you're tough, if you're buff, okay, if you have a lot, then everyone should kind of like admire you. Okay, but they had forgotten, or they were unaware that what really matters are things like taqwa, like akhlaq, like knowledge. Those are the things that really defines value according to the teachings of Tawheed and the true religion. Okay, question number 2. What type of thought process do the mutrafun go through to say we will never be punished? Because the verses said that the mutrafun, they basically don't believe in the message of the prophets, and instead they turn around and they say, look, we're going to do whatever we're doing. We're going to go ahead and consume and delight ourselves with all the worldly pleasures without having any boundaries. We're just going to go and just consume and pleasure to the extreme, and we're not going to be punished for it. So what is their thought process, right? How is it that their being mutrafun justifies them acting like this? Well, the answer is that they believe that wealth and power and large families mean that what they do and what they say is right. For some reason, this is what the Quran is describing, is that somehow that gives them access to the truth. What they have justifies that their positions, their beliefs, their perspectives are the right perspective, even to the extent that they can stand against the Prophet and say that we're not going to believe in you. We're going to believe in what we want to believe in. Okay. Now, question number 3. They also believe this. They also believe that wealth, power, and large families in this world means that in the next world they're going to be guaranteed as much, if not more. This is really important. That the Quran tells us in a number of verses that one of the reasons why people sort of don't really care about the hereafter sometimes and don't prepare for it is because they sort of have this assumption that whatever I have here, if I'm loaded here, I'll be loaded even more in the hereafter. If things come easy for me in this world, then they'll come easy for the hereafter. If here I have a good home, in the hereafter I'm guaranteed a good home. It's just sort of like taking it for granted because they're used to that happening in this world, so like it's going to happen in the hereafter as well. Now, question number 3 is that what can such a thought process lead to? Okay, well, it can lead to denying a prophet. It can lead to becoming an enemy of the prophet and standing against him. And it can lead to things like all sorts of oppression and wrongdoing. Okay, this is a serious topic here, right? It can lead to like even murdering one's own brother. How do we know that? Because, well, these brothers, right, they are willing to use this type of reasoning because we deserve a better position in our Father's heart. We should be loved by others. They're willing to justify their actually wanting to murder their own brother, right? It means that it's very serious, this type of thinking, what it can lead to. Okay, now, some points of reflection. In our societies, how much importance is given to those who have outstanding usba, amwal, and awlad? For example, how much do people listen to and what they say and do? Right now, if you look at the news, right, a lot of times the people that they're quoting these days, it's something that it used to happen in the past, now it's happening even more. The people that they quote are sports celebrities. Like they get their perspective on what's right and what's wrong a lot of times. Okay, now what is it about a sports celebrity that makes them an authority on what's right and what's wrong? If you look and compare how many times they'll talk to, let's say, a recognized and qualified scholar versus talking to a sports figure, and who are people going to listen to? Well, the society prefers what that sports figure is going to say. Or the people who are rich and famous, right? They're the ones who find it easy to get into power, and they're the ones who find it easy to be read on Twitter and like other places. Their words are circulated. Okay. Now, how can we avoid falling into the trap of measuring our values based on false criteria and feeling privileged for no valid reason? This is super important because when we live in a society that places value on these types of things, if we don't work really hard on ourselves and on our perspectives and to protect our heart, then we will also start adopting these type of values as well. That what really matters, we might start thinking that what really matters are these types of things. Okay, and that's what's going to guarantee us success in this world and the hereafter. That's why we have to always feel humbled. We have to be thankful for the blessings that we have. We have to regularly receive reminders from the Qur'an, from the words of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, so that our perspectives don't change on things, so that we don't fall into the trap of oppression that is part of the society we live in. And that leads us to this point, and this is the reason actually why I chose these verses. How can these verses help us understand the structure and ideology that allowed the killing of George Floyd? I'm sure that you guys have heard about this. George Floyd was an African American man. He was visiting Minneapolis. He was somebody who was renowned in his community for being like a source of goodness, and he was like just everyone loved him. Everything they say that like he was one of those people who like they just saw good from. Now he was in Minneapolis. He went into a store. The shopkeeper called the police, and the police like arrested him, and then they put him on the floor, and the policeman, he put his knee on his neck, and this just happened a couple of days ago, and he put it on like that vein. There's the cardiac vein, and he was yelling. He was saying that like I'm choking, I can't breathe, let me go, but the policeman, instead of doing that, he put his hands in his pockets, and he was like as if he's like enjoying this privilege and this power of being able to like subjugate and control this black man, and that led to his dying. Like he died. And right now in America, in various cities, including Minneapolis, there are protests going on, and people are very angry. This isn't the first time that such a thing has happened, and it's not the last time that such a thing is going to happen. And this is not just an isolated incident. It's reflective of the type of thinking that the people who are in power have. They think that because of their skin color, because of their wealth, because of their past history, because of their connection with each other, that they can oppress others, and even if it to the extent of killing them. It's interesting if you look and see like this technique of putting one's knee on the neck of somebody that you're trying to like subjugate, that you're trying to oppress. That's a technique that's used by the IDF. Do you know who the IDF are? They're the Israeli Defense Forces, and they do this regularly. And there's evidence that almost all, if not all, of the police forces in America have either been trained in Israel. They've actually been flown to Israel to learn techniques from the masters of oppression, or they've had training in their own states where they bring in these people who are expert torturers and all that, and oppressors, and they come and they teach them how to be as evil as they are. And taxpayer money goes towards this type of training. So it's something which in Israel is part of like the official plan. It's something which is like sort of declared that this is what we're going to do. Non-Israelis aren't like, Arabs are not like treated like citizens. They're treated like animals. And it's part of the systematic oppression there. And it's something which we find in other countries as well that look up to that country, that entity. Now, the Quran helps us to kind of look deeper and to see what are those things that will lead people to act like this and to justify this type of action. And we need to work hard, even though we might be living in these places, to make sure that we don't adopt these type of values. Okay, so with that, we will inshallah move to the next part of our program, which is to recite dua communal. We're going to be doing 1/3 of the dua, inshallah, and then with the hope that we can continue where we left off from next week. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa alihi tahirin. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك برحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء، وبقوتك التي قهرت بها كل شيء، وخضع لها كل شيء، وذل لها كل شيء، وبجبروتك التي غلبت بها كل شيء، وبعزتك التي لا يقوم لها شيء، وبعظمتك التي ملأت كل شيء، وبسلطانك الذي على كل شيء، وبوجهك الباقي بعد فناء كل شيء، وبأسمائك التي ملأت أركان كل شيء، وبعلمك الذي أحاط بكل شيء، وبنور وجهك الذي أضاء له كل شيء. يا نور يا قدوس يا أول الأولين ويا آخر الآخرين. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تهتك العصام، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل النقام، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تغير النعم، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحبس الدعاء، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل البلاء، اللهم اغفر لي كل ذنب أذنبته وكل خطيئة أخطأتها. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك بذكرك وأستشفع بك إلى نفسك، وأسألك بجودك أن تدنيني من قربك، وأن توزعني شكرك، وأن تلهمني ذكرك. اللهم إني أسألك سؤال خاضع متذلل خاشع أن تسامحني وترحمني وتجعلني بقسمك راضيا قانعا، وفي جميع الأحوال متواضعا. اللهم وأسألك سؤال من اشتدت فاقته وأنزل بك عند الشدائد حاجته، وعظم فيما عندك رغبته. Oh Allah, it's Thursday night. It's the night of seeking your forgiveness. It's the night of turning to you, Ya Allah, and asking from your mercy. The month of Ramadan has departed us. I'm left with a feeling of emptiness. I miss those nights, Ya Allah, where you sent your special angel to invite us to call upon you, to seek your forgiveness. I know that the month of Ramadan was a month where I should have worked harder, where I fell short on what I could have done. But I know that you are the most generous, Ya Allah. You have promised us that when we call upon you, you will not disappoint us. O Allah, my bala is very great. My sins are many. My desire with you is great. You are capable of solving my problems, of answering my dua. I only have to turn to you to strengthen my iman, to empty my heart of others than you. Allahumma azuma sultanuk wa ala makanuk وخفي مكرك وظهر أمرك وغلب قهرك وجرت قدرتك ولا يمكن الفرار من حكومتك. اللهم لا أجد لذنوبي غافرا ولا لقبائحي ساترا ولا لشيء من عملي القبيح بالحسن مبدلا غيرك. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك وبحمدك. ظلمت نفسي وتجرأت بجهلي وسكنت إلى قديم ذكرك لي ومنك علي. اللهم مولاي كم من قبيح سترته وكم من فادح من البلاء قلته وكم من عثار وقيته وكم من مكروه دفعته وكم من ثناء جميل لست أهلا له نشرته. اللهم عظم بلائي وأفرط بي سوء حالي وقصرت بي أعمالي وقعدت بي أغلالي وحبسني عن نفعي بعد أملي وخدعتني الدنيا بغرورها ونفسي بجنايتها ومطالي. يا سيدي فأسألك بعزتك ألا يحجب عنك دعائي سوء عملي وفعالي ولا تفضحني بخفي ما اطلعت عليه من سري ولا تعاجلني بالعقوبة على ما عملته في خلواتي من سوء فعلي وإساءتي ودوام تفريطي وجهالتي وكثرة شهواتي وغفلتي. وكن اللهم بعزتك لي في كل الأحوال رؤوفا وعلي في جميع الأمور عطوفا. إلهي وربي من لي غيرك أسأله كشف ضري والنظر في أمري. Allah, I ask you through the words taught to me by the Ahlul Bayt to forgive me for those sins which make my heart hard, which prevent my dua from reaching you, which prevent me from receiving your answer to my dua. I don't have anybody to turn to except for you, Ya Allah. I don't even know how much longer I have, how many more opportunities you will give me to turn to you and call upon you. They say there was a man who once went to the haram of Imam Rida alayhi salam. He happened to see in the haram there was 3 of the great scholars who were alive at that time. He went to each of them, he asked them a question. What dua do you have? You're at the haram of Imam Rida. What are you going to ask him? Every one of them gave him the same response. Every one of them told him that I'm praying that when I leave this world, I do so in a good state, in a state of submission to Allah. Oh Allah, I ask you tonight to make me one of your servants, to bring my dead heart alive with your remembrance. إلهي وربي من لي غيرك أسأله كشف ضري والنظر في أمري. إلهي ومولاي أجريت علي حكما اتبعت فيه هوى نفسي ولم أحترس فيه من تزيين عدوي فغرني بما أهوى وأسعده على ذلك القضاء فتجاوزت بما جرى علي من ذلك بعض حدودك وخالفت بعض أوامرك فلك الحجة علي في جميع ذلك ولا حجة لي فيما جرى علي فيه قضاءك والزمني حكمك وبلاءك وقد أتيتك يا إلهي بعد تقصيري وإسرافي على نفسي معتذرا نادما منكسرا مستقيلا مستغفرا منيبا مقرا مذعنا معترفا لا أجد مفرا مما كان مني ولا مفزعا أتوجه إليه في أمري غير قبولك عذري وإدخالك إياي في سعة رحمتك اللهم فاقبل عذري وارحم شدة ضري وفكني من شدي وثاقي يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني ورقة جلدي ودقة عظمي يا من بدأ خلقي وذكري وتربيتي وبري وتغذيتي. Oh my Lord, oh Allah, you remember the time when I was born. I was so weak at that time, so dependent. I don't imagine now that I've grown, that I'm any stronger, any more independent of you. I'm just as dependent now as I was at that time. I need you, Ya Allah, for every one of my affairs. Don't ever abandon me. Be there for me just as you were before, even in the future. وتربيتي وبري وتغذيتي هبني لابتداء كرمك وسالفي برك بي. It's Thursday night. It's the night of remembering the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, of doing ziyarah of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. It's the night of remembering the Imam of our time and seeking proximity to him and seeking a means to Allah by means of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. The 8th of Shawwal is a very important and tragic day in the history of Islam. It's the day of the destruction of Jannatul Baqi', when the Wahhabi forces that were supported by the imperial powers, they decided to show their power and to drive a wedge into the unity of Muslims and to declare to the Shias and the lovers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam that they were in charge. They went and they razed the shrines of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, including the shrines of our beloved Imams, Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, Imam Zain al-Abidin, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Our great scholars have encouraged us to take this day as a day of mourning, of remembering the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam and their tragedies, and to consider this an extension of the tragedies that befell them during their lifetimes. Inshallah, by means of these tears, they will be seen by Allah Ta'ala. They will be seen by the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam as a sign that we care and that we're not going to let this event fade away into history. Let us send our salam to the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam and remember these Imams and then do a bit of zikr musibat. Assalamu alaykum ya Ahl Bayt an-Nubuwah wa mukhtalaf al-malaika wa ma'adan al-ilm wa Ahl Bayt al-Wahi. Peace and blessings be upon the pure household of the Ahlul Bayt, the purified ones whom the angels would constantly visit, the best of human beings, the leaders of mankind, the chosen ones, the Ahlul Bayt of the Prophet. Did the Wahhabis realize the magnificence of the people whose graves they decided to destroy? Every Thursday night, 124,000 prophets long to do ziyarah of Imam Hussein in Karbala. But do you know who Imam Hussein alayhi salam used to visit every Thursday night during his lifetime? After the martyrdom of his brother Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba, Imam Hussein used to go, according to hadith, every Thursday night to the grave of his brother Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Did they realize who Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam is? He is the one who on the day of judgment will be singled out. The cry will come, Aina Zainul Abidin, where is the ornament of the worshippers? And the one who will be singled out amongst all human beings will be Imam Zainul Abidin. Did they realize who Imam Muhammad al-Baqir is? He was so precious that Rasulullah tells Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari that you will see him in your lifetime, Jabir. Jabir was just a young man at that time. At that time, when you see him, Jabir, you will be an elderly man. But on my behalf, on behalf of the Messenger of Allah, convey my salam to Imam Baqir. Did they realize who Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq is? He is the one who is the founder and the reviver of the madhab of the Ahlul Bayt. Let us send our salam to these Imams and pledge our commitment to their cause. Let us take our hearts and our minds now to Karbala. I don't know what the situation is there. Have people started to come back to do ziyarah of Imam Hussein? Or is it still the case that the shrines of Hazrat Abbas and Imam Hussein are empty of their lovers and their zuwar? Inshallah, tonight Allah will count us among those whose life's desires to do ziyarah of their master Imam Hussein in Karbala. Let us remember on the day of Ashura when Imam Hussein was calling out, is there anyone to come and defend the haram of Rasulullah? Is there anyone to come to our assistance, to respond to our call? At that time, the martyrs had been slain. According to a report, Imam Hussein looks to the right. He sees no one standing there. He looks to the left. He sees no one standing there. Who is going to respond to his call? There is a boy who is watching what is happening. His name is Abdullah, the son of Al-Hassan. He must have felt something in his heart at that time. He's just a boy. But when he sees his uncle not being responded to, he feels a sense of responsibility. As Imam Hussein is standing alone facing the enemy, he is not fearful. There is no threat of the enemy that will stop him. He begins to run towards the battlefield when he sees one of the enemy soldiers raising his sword to strike the Imam. Imam Hussein alayhi salam sees this young child of Imam Hassan sprinting towards him. He calls out to his sister Zainab, Zainab, stop him. Don't let him come to the battlefield. But Abdullah ibn al-Hassan struggles. He says that I must go and defend my uncle. He's alone. He's not scared of doing his responsibility. He rushes forward. He reaches Imam Hussein just as the sword is coming down. He defends his uncle with his own arm. The sword falls on his arm. He falls into the lap of Imam Hussein. The blood must have been pouring profusely. Imam Hussein looks at his nephew, Abdullah. Abdullah is in pain. He's just a boy. He calls out, Ya Ammata. Oh, my mother. Just like children in times of need are in need of their mothers. Imam Hussein tells him, oh, my nephew, be patient. Restrain yourself. It's only a matter of time before you will see your blessed father, before you see Ali ibn Abi Talib, and before you'll see Rasulullah and Sayyidah Fatima. Harmala la'natullahi alayhi is seeing this happen. He wants an end to this. He has hatred of Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, just like these people were so filled of hate that they wanted to raise down the graves of these great individuals. He notches the arrow to his bow. The arrow is flying towards the son of Imam Hassan. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Salam Allahi alayhi. Salam Allahi ala jami'i shuhada'i Karbala wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's Thursday night. Let's end this portion with doing a small tawassul to the Imam of our time. Ya Hujjatullahi ala khalqih, Ya Sayyidana wa Mawlana, Inna tawajjahna wa istashfa'na وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. We ask Allah Ta'ala to forgive us for our faults and our mistakes, to purify us of the sins that we've committed, to answer our du'as. We ask Him to grant us our hajat. We ask Him to cure all those who are ill. We ask Him to remove the bala that is facing us. We ask Him to hasten the reappearance of the Imam of our time. We ask Him to help all those who are oppressed in this world. We ask Him to help the oppressed people of Yemen and Palestine and Syria and Iraq and Kashmir and other places. We ask Him, Ya Allah, please help free those who have been imprisoned unjustly, like Sheikh Zakzaki and the shuyukh and the scholars in Bahrain. We ask You, Ya Allah, to help all the mu'mineen and to grant us our hajat and to accept all of our a'mal and to grant us a life in servitude towards You, and to increase our knowledge, and to help our youth, and to grant us purity. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa alihi at-tahirin. There was a special request for a Surah Al-Fatiha to be recited for a dear brother by the name of Hajj Akram Satarzai, who is very ill. For the sake of his shifa and for the shafa of all those who are ill, let's recite 5 times the verse of the Qur'an. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء 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 أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. If there's any special requests that you have for somebody that you'd like to pray for their shifa, please feel free to add that to either the YouTube chat window, or on Slido there's a ideas section which you can just mention it there, and inshallah we can all remember all the mu'mineen. May Allah Ta'ala grant all the believers and the people of truth and justice a cure from both their physical and their spiritual ills. Okay, now it's the time that we're going to be, inshallah, we're going to be starting the quiz. So you can go ahead and sign up for that on slido.com, pound ilham. My request is if you can try to use your real name, or a name that at least I'll recognize, because it's nice to at least feel that we have some type of connection. If it's just kind of random names, then it's really hard to know. Another request is if we can have, try to make it an intra-family competition thing where everyone's doing their own, if possible, obviously in a supervised manner. But it's good to see, let the children do it. Parents shouldn't just be sitting back and saying, okay, we're going to let our kids do it. This is for all of us to participate in. Inshallah, it's a way for us to keep in mind what we learn. Before we started, just a quick story, just kind of as a inspiration, inshallah. Once there was a it was in the mosque of the Prophet ﷺ, and he was with Salman al-Farisi. And Salman wasn't a well-to-do person, and he was from a different culture, and some people, they had issues with Salman. They looked at him as being like one of the poor people, one of the immigrants, and they didn't have that much respect for him. Maybe when he would speak Arabic, he would speak with a type of accent. So once, it was a very hot day, and Salman didn't have that many things. The one cloak that he had become wet with his own perspiration. So there was a man who came in, and he was from one of the rich people. And when he looked at Salman and he saw his cloak and he smelled the odor from the cloak, he kind of spoils his face. And he turns to the Prophet and he says that, why do you have this type of person here? Either let it be the case that before we come into the mosque, then you tell him to leave, and when we leave, then you can tell him to come back in. But it shouldn't be the case that when he's there, that we're there, when we're there, that he's allowed in. And according to hadith, that is the occasion in which Allah Ta'ala reveals the verse of the Qur'an, where He says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه ولا تعد عيناك عنهم تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا واتبع هواه وكان أمره فرطا. Content yourself with the company of those who supplicate their Lord morning and evening, desiring His face, and do not lose sight of them, desiring the glitter of the life of this world, and do not obey him whose heart we have made oblivious to our remembrance, and who follows his own desires, and whose conduct is mere profligacy, meaning that they're just doing things in an extreme sort of way. This ayah tells us that there are people like Salman, and the Imam of Salman, who was Imam Ali alayhi salam. These are the people that we need to have in our lives. We need to always make them be in front of us. We have to always remember them, make them be our role models. And we shouldn't ever let our heart be distracted and try to follow other people. Okay, so with that, let's say salawat, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. We're going to go ahead and launch our quiz. Just like the previous quizzes, we have the first question has to do with a verse of the Qur'an, and so I'm going to ask you to listen to the verse very carefully, and inshallah the first question will be about that. Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, listen carefully.
وعلى أمم ممن معك وأمم وعلى أمم ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم.
Sorry, I started that too early. I hope you didn't see that question. Okay. Now listen carefully. Okay, it's a portion of a verse. Okay, and listen carefully. Go.
وعلى أمم ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم.
Okay, so that was a portion of a verse. Okay, now listen to it one more time, and then we're gonna start. Okay, go ahead.
وعلى أمم ممن معك وأمم سنمتعهم ثم.
Okay, so with that, in the clip of the verse you just heard, how many memes would you see if you were to read that portion of the verse in the Quran? It might be one of the portions that has the most memes. Not memes as in M-E-M-E, but like memes as in the letter meme. I wish I hadn't shown that question because maybe it would have been a harder question. Let's see. Okay, so we have the majority of you say that there were 10 memes, okay? But the majority isn't always right, of course, but in this case, they are right, so there was 10, okay? All right, good job. So now we can look at the leaderboard here. Now this is a new feature of Slido that just came in today. You can see the leaderboard, you can see who's at the top. There's a lot of people who got one. Okay, next question. All right. Giving one's zakatul fitra in another city is allowed when which of the following is true? I wanted to ask this last week, but didn't get around to it. I thought it's important for us to be reminded about this. So it seems like you all said that I'm not aware of any poor believers in my hometown. But remember that sometimes I ask questions and my answers are trick answers. And the correct answer is none of the above. Why? Because it's not just a matter of not being aware of any poor believers in your hometown. You have to go and search for them. If you search for them and then you find that there's no one who is deserving, then that's when you can transfer it, or that's when you have to transfer it outside of the town. But you have to actually do that searching. That's part of the condition. So now let's see who is in our leaderboard. We still have Sami and Haura and Razia and Maryam who are at first place, and we have a whole bunch of people in second. Okay, next question. We did not send a warner to any town without its affluent ones saying blank, and they say blank, and we will not be punished. Don't go and look up the verse though in like some website or anything like that. Just go by the memory because we just went through this verse in the presentation. Okay, it looks like this one was a bit harder, but still we have the majority of people selecting the first one, and that is exactly correct. And now we have two people at the top, Sister Razia and Sister Maryam. Okay, and we are now at question number 4, I think. The mutrafun are those who, only one left after this, who do what? Which of the following? So we just covered this. Should be pretty straightforward, easy. But just read all the answers carefully before you select your answer. Okay, so the correct answer here, which most of you got, was that the second and fourth option, they have a lot and they satisfy their desires in an extreme way. And then the last, so here's our, now we have a bunch of people at 3 out of 4. We don't have anybody who has gotten 4 out of 4. So now this is going to be the deciding question here. Let's see, which of the following is a source of true attraction according to the Quran? This is tough because I only just kind of mentioned it in passing. It was just on the slide there. So see if you can figure it out. It's also based on general knowledge about the Qur'an. Okay, so we have the vast majority of you selecting the second, third, and fourth option. That is exactly right. Allah Ta'ala says, Inna akramakum indallah atqakum. The best of you, the most noble amongst you in the sight of Allah is the one who has the most taqwa. Allah says, Hal yastawi alladhina ya'lamuna walladhina la ya'lamun. Are those who know equal to those who don't know? And then Allah praises the Prophet, saying, Innaka la ala khuluqin azim, which means that this is a mark for what makes somebody great, their akhlaq, in other verses as well. So our final leaderboard for this evening is, we have Sami back at the top, and we have Sister Razia and Zahra and Zainab and Elia Askari, all with 4 out of 5 points. But the person who did it the fastest gets kind of ranked a bit higher there. So that is Sami. And we have a bunch of people also at 3 out of 5 points, and we have others as well. And really, it doesn't matter too much, does it? What matters is, inshallah, we are trying to get closer to the teachings of the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Okay, so with that, we are going to finish the quiz. What I wanted to say is that, there was some really nice suggestions that I got at the last program, and I really appreciate those. One of them was that we kind of assign a homework, because I know that some of us might feel a little bit bored, and we're looking for something to do, and we want to do something that's positive, that's helpful for us and helpful to others. And so the idea was to assign some type of homework. So I have something in mind, and I just wanted to share it with you. And you can do, just an idea is that I think right now this whole thing of like oppression and racism and apartheid and like kind of the power of one group over the other, it's in our minds. So one thing I wanted to encourage is that during this week, see if you can talk about that at least amongst your family members. And if you want, you can even go one step further and produce something to kind of express your feelings, your sentiments. Maybe you want to do like a complaint to the Imam of the time. You want to like present something to him in the form of like artwork. You want to say that, look, this is what you're sad about. Like maybe it's something from the Palestinian plight, or like what's happening in Yemen, or what's happening in the United States of America. You want to put it in form of a picture, or you want to find a verse in the Quran that has to do with like this idea of privilege, either what's good and what's bad, like the kind of things that we talked about. You want to show a verse of the Quran, you want to put it in calligraphy, and you want us to like display it next week, or you want to do a small poem and you want to share it with others. Please feel free to do that. That would be awesome. I'd love to hear from you, and then you can email it to ilhammagazine@gmail.com, and then inshallah I'd love to look over that, and if it's suitable, then we'll show it in next week's live stream. That's in terms of what you can do that way. And then in terms of a practical thing, just to kind of make sure that we're applying the knowledge that we learn, let's take a moment to remember the blessings of Allah and to be thankful for them. Otherwise, what happens is these blessings can become means by which we look at others and think of ourselves as better than them. So try to find a moment on a daily basis in this next week where you can just think about one of Allah's blessings on you and express your gratitude towards Him. That's a practical homework. Inshallah, I'm going to try to do it, and you can try to do it as well. Okay, so now this is the last portion of our program for this evening. If you can go to the ideas section of Slido, and what you can do here is put in your thoughts about this question, that now that the month of Ramadan, according to the dua of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, when we're bidding farewell to, when we're saying goodbye to it, it's supposed to be that we're saying goodbye to a guest where it's difficult for us to part with them. So let's say there's some guest who comes to your home and it was awesome. You just loved their presence. Now, when they leave, what are you going to do? You're going to talk about that, right? You're going to remember like those good times that you had with that guest. So I thought that just because it's a few days since the month of Ramadan has left us, let's treat the month of Ramadan like this guest that it's really hard for us to kind of have left, that they left us. And let's think about the good times that we had with this guest. So what you can share with us on the Slido, the ideas section, is some good memory from the month of Ramadan. Now that you think back, you're missing it. Okay, and I'd love to hear from you. Okay, and so either on the YouTube chat or on the Slido. Okay. But I prefer on the Slido if you can, just it'd be easier. Okay, so we're looking forward to you guys. The question is what? You can add that to, if I can ask the Ilham Magazine team to put that in the YouTube chat, the question that I just said, that would be awesome, just so people are reminded about that. And you can, if you like what somebody else says, you can vote it. You can vote it. So you can say, I agree with this, you can give it like your like, and that way, inshallah. Okay, we have Dania saying, I love reading Jamaat Namaz with family before opening fast. That's a great comment. But it doesn't have to stop, right? It's awesome that you guys are doing it before breaking your fast too. Okay, Sister Razia says, having a schedule, it felt like it gave us a sense of purpose more than usual. Okay, Muhammad Abbas Panju, having Quran darsa every night and hearing people improving and talking about stories from the Quran. That was, I personally speaking, like I really missed that, and that's why I decided to do something Quranic for this live stream, because it's just something that it's so beautiful, the stories of the Quran. Okay, doing amals and eating iftar as a family. You can still eat together, but it wouldn't be iftar necessarily. Okay, we have who else? We have Anonymous saying, listening to Dua al-Baha during suhoor time. The beautiful Dua Joshan Kabir. Zamin says, the family bonding that I've built during the month of Ramadan that otherwise I wouldn't have when everyone is super busy. That is so true. But let's try not to lose that, because that's something that we need, especially during these COVID times. We need that support network, and that love is something that can really help these times pass by in a more sweeter manner. Okay, and we have reciting Dua al-Iftitah, so many blessings. Hamza says, I miss iftar. Okay, all right, and we have being able to do Salat al-Layl easier, reciting the Quran more often. Elias says, our daily Quran discussion with my children and Jamaat Namaz in the Suhoor time. That's so wonderful. I find that very intriguing that you had a daily Quran discussion, and I think that that's something that can continue. Inshallah, like the Quran is a book that we need to be studying, not just in the month of Ramadan, but at all times. Knowing that sleep is worship and every breath is a tasbih, thanking Muhammad Abbas and brother and sister Dibaj are saying that staying awake till Fajr and being able to do extra prayers, mashallah, may Allah accept it. Zainab, I miss doing darsa every day online on Zoom. Okay, and wow, these are great comments here. I'm just going to hop over to the YouTube window for a second and check that out. Okay, Sister Razia says, we see in Quran people boasting about having multiple children, but now it's almost looked down upon to have too many kids. How does the verse apply then? Well, think about like Kushner and the Trumps, and think about like the royal family in the UK. So we do have like many examples of that, like within the upper elite, those who have like that 1% of wealth. A lot of times it's passed on like family to family, and generation to generation. It's true that that this idea of having so many kids is not as valued as it was in the past, but that idea still is there about like carrying on the family name and then doing special favors for one's kids and one's family members. And maybe now it's not so much in the form of like that this is the same family as in blood family, but it's the same kind of like that elite group, and they're like part of the same like, kind of extended family, maybe not necessarily blood. But it is the case that definitely that there are these other issues happening as well, like this desire of like the selfishness and like this kind of individualism, and this desire to sometimes just seek pleasure. It prevents people from getting married and then being blessed with children. So that is an apt comment. Okay, and just to hop back on here to your comments on the, let's see, on this board here. So the spiritual energy that we had, and Laylatul Qadr, and Let's see. Missing helping my mom make iftar. Inshallah, we can still help out at home. Now that month Ramadan has ended, now we have less excuse not to help out at home. And Fatima Zahra says, I'm missing fasting. MashaAllah. Reciting Dua al-Ahad at suhoor time. Namaz al-Shab was easier. It's a struggle again. But that's something that we can think about. That why is it that it's a struggle for us? It's easier for us to wake up for food than it is to pray. It's something to think about. Okay. I think that is most of the comments that we have here. Maybe I missed a few, forgive me for that. But thank you so much for your comments. If you have any suggestions, we are trying different things with this program, and we really want to make it something that, inshallah, is useful, beneficial to all of us. And I definitely benefited from your ideas last time. So don't hesitate to give your suggestions even now. You can just add it to the same page on Slido. Okay, so with that, inshallah, we will say goodbye for this evening. Please remember, send your dua. Take care. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa alihi tahirin.